Jenny, we're doing great.
What?
Yep.
I'm smelling NFL playoff upsets in the air. I'm smelling you're going to have an upset stomach on Monday on Undisputed. Here we go.
You know, you do this every time.
Every time. Yeah.
Keep that same energy come Monday.
Oh, I do smell something. A lot of games this weekend to talk about. We have Lil Wayne. He'll be stopping by later to talk about his Packers, of course. But we begin because Sunday on Fox, we will see history as Tom Brady and Drew Brees square off for a chance to advance to the NFC Championship. Both veteran quarterbacks will have their hands full as Pro Football Focus ranked each team's pass rush in the top 10 for the 2020 season. And as we know, Brees Saints took both regular season meetings. So Shannon, who wins and what is the score for this one?
This, obviously, this is the game that everybody's watching. I mean, I think all the games are going to be really good.
They're all really good.
Yeah, I really think, and even though Kansas City's game, we're going to talk about that, is a 10-point favorite, I think that game will be a very good ball game.
Agreed.
Also. But I think when Tom went to Tampa and everybody saw that he was going to be playing in the same division as Drew Brees, I think everybody thought they were going to decide not only who won the division, but who advanced to the NFC title game. And we thought this was going to happen. And I don't think, Fox is very disappointed. And plus, they did get Green Bay following it up on Sunday. Skip, the problem that I see for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is that everything that they do well, the Saints are built to kind of take it away.
Agreed.
The Saints do a great job of being able to pressure Tom Brady without having to sacrifice their back end. When you get Hendrickson, and he's going to be the key. He did practice something, so it's going to be how much he can play. And, you pair Hendrickson with Cam Jordan and Rankins and those guys. DeMario Davis is a very good middle linebacker. And then Malcolm Jenkins did a very good job the first time around, the first couple of times around, dealing with Gronk. But the matchup is Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans. And he's done a great job throughout his career of being able to neutralize Mike Evans. Now, they have Jack Rabbit. The question is, what are they going to do with Jack Rabbit? Are they going to put him on Antonio Brown, or are they going to put him on Chris Godwin?
Yep.
So when I look at it, Tom Brady, Tom is not the most mobile quarterback. He'll slide, shuffle here, slide there. But Skip, he's really not trying to get outside of the pocket. He wants to stay in that phone booth and do all of his business from that location. But when I look at the Saints defense, they're 4th in rush D, 5th in pass D, 3rd in takeaways, 5th in QB hits.
Yep.
Those are outstanding numbers. And Tom Brady has done a great job over the last couple of weeks. I question the level of defenses that he's done it against, but nevertheless, he's done that. So with that being said, I'm going to take the Saints. I'm going to say the Saints win a very close ball game. I'm going to say they win 27-23 because also, even though the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have an outstanding pass rush, Skip, the Saints offense is really not built to throw the football down the field. Drew Brees does a great job of getting the ball out of his hands, and he's gotten better. He's still not back to the Drew Brees before that hit, but he's gotten better at getting the ball out of his hands a lot quicker, getting it to his playmaker. I think can't guard Mike being back. Alvin Kamara has been sensational. He's been phenomenal. Emmanuel Sanders, and so I like what the Saints possess. I like what they can do offensively, and I like how they can neutralize some of the pass rush from the Tampa Bay defense. So I'm gonna go with the Saints. I'm gonna say they win a very, very close ball game, 27-23.
I disagree with nothing you just said. The Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp just delivered brilliant insight into the hottest matchup, the most intriguing matchup of 4 really great ones.
Right.
Tom Brady is facing, to me, the greatest challenge of his entire NFL career. This is his nightmare matchup. I don't like anything about it for Tom Brady. I especially don't like what I saw on opening day and on the night of November 8th at Tampa Bay, both the New Orleans games, in which you walked away saying, that's just a mismatch for Tom Brady. He's got no shot. And to drive home just how bad this was on the night of November 8th for Tom Brady, the final score was 38-3 New Orleans, but it was never even competitive.
Right. It felt like 50-3.
It did. Here are the final yardage totals. New Orleans had 420 yards to Brady's 194, his offense 194, 420 to 194. So you more than doubled their yards. 27 first downs for New Orleans, the visiting team, to 13 for the home team. And guess what the time of possession was? 40 to 20.
Right.
So Brady didn't really have the ball that much, and Drew Brees and company just dominated the football.
Well, Skip, if you remember, if I'm not mistaken, they might have went their first 3 or 4 possessions 3 and out. So you go 3 and out, and then Drew Brees goes 10 plays, 12 plays, 14 plays. They eating up time, and you're not on the field but for a minute or 2 at a time.
To drive this home, on that night of November 8th, in Brady's new home, Drew Brees had a QBR scale 0 to 100 of 99, while Tom Brady had a 6, a single-digit 6.
Was that the greatest discrepancy in QBR in history?
In history, and I believe it was Tom Brady's worst game in his long and goatish history. Would you believe, to add insult to injury, that both Jameis and Taysom Hill, in the time they played in that game, had QBRs of 100, so they were perfect, on top of Drew Brees' 99 compared to Tom Brady's 6. And just to drive home how bad it got, could we please see that last interception that Brady threw? It was 38 to nothing at this point, and Tom Brady just gave it out. He just spit the bit, rolled out, and threw the worst decision pass that I think he's ever tried to throw. Just threw it up for grabs across the field. Is that like the worst idea for a throw you could do? He's trying to throw it up for Gronk and hope he jump balled it. And Malcolm Jenkins said, "Oh, thank you, Tom. I'll take that."
Yeah. Although, Skip, you believe he still has a lively arm. His arm has never been that lively where he could do that.
Okay. So that's when you hit bottom. It was also the first night that they tried to throw Antonio Brown into the mix, into the rotation, after he had practiced twice with the football team. And just to sum this up in the big picture, I think people have lost sight of this. You realize that Drew Brees has basically owned Tom Brady in their head-to-heads.
Yeah.
It's Drew Brees 5 to Tom 2. 5 to 2 is the score when they've played each other 7 times.
Yeah, I think Tannehill has a winning record against him also. But it's not very many quarterbacks, Skip, can say I own a winning record against that guy.
But you not only do you own the winning record, you want touchdowns, interceptions in those 7 games head-to-head? Drew Brees is 18 touchdowns to 1 interception against Tom Brady. Tom Brady versus Drew Brees is 9 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Obviously, Drew's not playing defense, and he has had a very good defense to back him up. But still, 18 to 1 versus 9 to 11? I think people have lost sight of just how lopsided this quote-unquote competition between the 2 old guys has been over time. Okay, so where does that leave me? If Tom Brady could turn this around and win this game, I believe it would be the greatest beat-down turnaround I've ever seen. You might be able to find a bigger one, but to go from getting blown out at home, 38-3, to somehow pulling off a win at New Orleans in a playoff game against Drew Brees, who has owned you, wouldn't that be the greatest beat-down turnaround ever? Right?
Yeah, but Skip, you know what? Football is different than any other sports because they're like, and I think this is why they say this in basketball, Skip. A team can be 3-0 against you in basketball or whatever. But in football, Skip, one bad bounce, one off-target throw, and one this, and it's over. It's only one game. And we know what Tom is capable of doing because in 21 years, we've seen more ups than downs. We've seen more good than bad. It's not like, I'm like, if Tom were to beat them, I'm picking the Saints, no question. I feel very comfortable in my pick. But it's not like, man, if the Bucks win this game, it's not like Skip. I'll be like, man, I can't believe this. Man, I cannot believe that this team beat the Saints. It's not going to be one of those because when you look at them